Well, Liberty fam, we have another case of a company threatening its employees over vaccine mandates and backtracking after getting some negative attention, but still doing some serious damage to the men and women working for them. This time it's Hornady, and I've got some special insider information, so stick around for the details. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, today's video is brought to you with the help of My Patriot Supply. Supply shortages are starting to hit some areas hard already, as videos and photos have even come out of some retailers using prop food like they do in North Korea to make shelves look fuller, which is some next level dystopian stuff I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. But then again, I never thought I'd see Georgia go blue. So there's that. Some emergency food companies are also facing shortages and have shut down all new orders for the next couple of months. But as of right now, My Patriot Supply is still going strong. Right now, they're also offering all my viewers $100 off a 3-month emergency food supply, which you can pick up at preparewithlibberty.com. Back to Hornady, this story first reached me via email and has evolved quite a bit over the last few days. The basics are this. On October 11th, Hornady sent this letter out to their employees. It ended up being leaked and was spread all over the gun community, but if you haven't seen it, this is what it says. Important information. President Biden announces workplace vaccine mandate. You may have seen this headline recently. It applies to all companies with 100 plus employees, and obviously that means us. We have been informed we will be subject to a vaccine mandate as early as December 8th. Now, real quick, I'd like to point out here that as of right now, the only vaccine mandate from Biden is for federal workers and contractors. While Biden said he was going to direct OSHA to come up with some rules for companies with 100 or more employees, none of that has actually been written out and implemented yet. And it's probably going to be a long time before that happens, between comment periods and all the lawsuits that I'm sure will follow. The letter even says that the company doesn't have any details at all, but that as they understand it, they'll be subject to the OSHA rule, so please, please, please get the vaccine. It goes on. I recognize this issue has gone way beyond a health measure and is to some very personal, but there is nothing we, and ultimately you, can do to avoid this. Which, frankly, I can't decide if that's just really negative and nihilistic or a sort of passive-aggressive threat.
He's a threat.
Nonetheless, the letter tells all employees they need to be fully vaccinated by November 24th, 2 weeks before the suspected December 8th deadline, in order to be in line with the company's proactive stance, and says, there is a tremendous amount of misinformation and flat-out lies about this mandate. Please listen to the guidance we provide, not the internet, social media, or even your co-workers. Which is pretty convenient to their stance that this is just the way things are and no one, not even you, can do anything about it. Which we'll see in a moment is not quite what happened, but I digress. It ends on the note, we do not want you or us to be faced with career-devastating decisions in the final days before the mandate is in effect. Our priority is and always has been to provide a safe work environment and an opportunity for all of us to work and earn a living. Please help us get through this. Signed, Steve Hornady. Now, I do have to say, I feel for the companies that are in this position of feeling stuck between mandates and their values, or at least the values they claim to have. It's a crappy position, but what Biden is trying to do, and is unfortunately being successful with, is trying to force private companies into coercing their employees to make certain medical decisions in exchange for a paycheck. This, ladies and gentlemen, is called extortion and is typically illegal.
And the government changes the laws.
There is, of course, the question of whether or not they fall under the category of federal contractor, but that wasn't the reason for the mandate cited in the letter. The letter strictly referenced impending OSHA rules and made only a passing mention of holding some contracts with the government. Now, fast forward to a little over 2 weeks later, after public pressure, Hornady backed down on this stance. The new letter was issued as a clarification to the previous memo, pulling a play from the Southwest Airlines playbook and claiming that they're against mandates and never issued an employee mandate. The letter claims that anyone who interpreted the letter that way was wrong and that we're sorry you had that impression. According to this new letter, the old letter was really just to let everyone know that the company would have vaccines available for folks who wanted them. The requirement to be fully vaccinated by November 24th was just a collective figment of everyone's imagination. So, cool, good on them for backtracking or gaslighting or changing their minds or whatever you want to call it. Regardless of this public stance, and we'll call it public because I'm sure that on some level he knew that this new stance would also be leaked, it's what happens behind closed doors that really matters. Behind the scenes, according to both former and current employees, the CFO is allegedly on a headhunt for the person or persons who leaked the letter. There have been threats. The company is instead doubling down on its mask mandate for unvaccinated employees, and the unvaccinated are now losing their sick time regardless of whether they're out for COVID or non-COVID reasons. It's entirely possible that passing this info on to me, and then me to you, could make those threats worse, though I would imagine there isn't really anything worse than the termination that these employees have already been threatened with, and there's not much the company can do to the people who have already quit. Though, that being said, my latest correspondence said that the word bounty was being thrown around the company, suggesting that folks are being offered rewards to turn in their fellow rebellious co-workers. Which is pretty shady and doesn't sound very much like that safe workplace that Steve Hornady says that he's trying to give everyone. Nevertheless, the employees involved felt that transparency was better and more important than those internal politics and wanted the information to get out. So yes, the company is no longer pushing a vaccine mandate, at least publicly, but is looking to punish who leaked the letter and forced their hand. This is, unfortunately, a narrative that has become more and more common in today's COVID landscape, and one I think we're going to continue to see as this December 8th deadline gets closer and the fight between Biden and we the people heats up. That's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it, though does anyone really enjoy this kind of news? Anyways, thanks for watching, doing the whole pro algorithm like, share, and comment thing, and of course, stay safe and happy shooting.